When you leave the house, have you ever truly wondered what your dog goes through in your absence? Imagine this. Your dog gently presses its face into your shirt, nose buried in your scent, ears twitching like tiny radars, listening for the faintest sign of your return. It doesn't bark. It doesn't whine. It waits. In that quiet space, a small story unfolds, a silent drama of loyalty, longing, and love. In this video, we'll explore 10 quiet truths about what your dog may be feeling when it's left alone. And by the end, you might find that the simple moment when your dog rushes to greet you at the door means more than you ever realized. That wagging tail. It's not just joy. It's the end of a long, silent wait, and the reunion it's been dreaming of all day. So what exactly happens in those quiet hours when you're gone? Let's begin with the very first thing your dog does the moment the door closes behind you. 1. The house falls silent, and two little ears begin to listen. It's strange, isn't it? How a home filled with warmth just moments ago can suddenly feel cold the second you're gone. As your footsteps fade down the hallway, your dog doesn't bark. It doesn't chase. It just stands still and listens. Its ears flicker like tiny antennas scanning the air, catching every creak of the floor, every echo bouncing off the walls. To you, it's just silence. To your dog, it's a space filled with questions. Where did you go? How long will you be gone this time? Will you come back before the light changes? Dogs hear more than we do. Higher frequencies, softer vibrations. They can catch the whir of the elevator, the click of your car key, before it even turns. That's why sometimes they're already at the door before you've even reached it. But here's what most people don't realize: that intense listening, it's not just a survival instinct. It's love disguised as hyper-awareness. It's the sound of waiting wrapped in fur. And if your dog had words, maybe it'd say this: I'm trying to find you in the sounds. I'm tracing every whisper in the walls, hoping one of them is you. So next time you open the door and see them waiting, tail thumping like a soft drum, remember they've been listening for you the whole time. But listening is just the beginning. Because what they do next, where they choose to wait, reveals something even deeper. 2. Waiting right where you disappeared. You'd think they might wander off, chase a toy curl-up somewhere cozy. But no. Most dogs go straight to one place the moment you're gone: the doorway, or the window just above it, or the mat where you last stood. They plant themselves there like a lighthouse facing the sea, watching, waiting not for ships, but for the one person who means home. Why there? Why that exact spot? Because that's where you vanished. And dogs, they don't understand time the way we do. They don't count minutes or hours. They count presence and absence and the space in between. They stare out at the world beyond the glass with eyes that don't just see, they hope. The mailman passes. A leaf drifts by. Nothing. Still, they wait. What if you came back early? What if this is the moment? There's something quietly heartbreaking about that kind of devotion. You walk out the door thinking you'll be right back, but to them, it's a cliffhanger with no promised ending. A silence with no closing line. And they're left in that stillness, holding on to the only anchor they have, the last place they saw you. But here's what's even more surprising. While they wait, they're not just watching. They're surrounding themselves with something else. Something invisible to us, but deeply comforting to them. Do you know what it is? Let's take a closer look. 3. Clinging to your scent, like a comfort blanket. While you're gone, your dog isn't just waiting in silence. It's searching for pieces of you left behind in the air, in the folds of your blanket, in the hoodie you dropped on the couch without thinking. To you, it's laundry. To them, it's sanctuary, a lifeline, a map of memories drawn in scent. Dogs live through their noses. Where we see colors, they see smells. And your scent. It's not just familiar, it's safety. It's the smell of feeding time, of belly rubs, of walks under golden leaves. It's the smell of you always come back. Have you ever noticed your dog curling up on your worn-out sweater or nosing into the corner of your pillow while you're away? That's not random. That's instinct. They're building a nest out of your presence, wrapping themselves in the invisible thread that still connects you to them even when the leash is off and the door is shut. But here's what's fascinating. Science backs this up. MRI studies have shown that when dogs smell their owner's scent, the reward center of their brain lights up like fireworks. Just your smell makes them feel like everything is okay. So the next time you see them curled up in your old t-shirt, don't rush to toss it in the wash. That crumpled bit of fabric. To them, it's hope. And yet, even with that comfort, something inside them still stirs something deeper, more restless. What happens in the first few minutes right after you leave? Let's step into that moment. 4. Pacing at first, then slowly learning to settle. The door shuts, the silence thickens, and your dog. It doesn't just sit down and wait. Not yet. At first, there's movement, restless searching. A few steps toward the door. A pause. Back again. A soft whine, maybe. A nose twitch. The room is the same, but something's missing, and their body knows it before their mind can explain it. It's as if they're walking through a memory trying to retrace your steps. Where were you standing last? Which way did you turn? Did you leave a clue? A sound. A smell that says when you'll return. This pacing isn't random. It's a dance between hope and confusion. A ritual of worry. They're trying to adjust to the new shape of the day, one without you in it. But then something shifts. After minutes, or sometimes longer, they settle. Maybe by the window. Maybe in that favorite sun-drenched corner of the floor. Their breathing slows. Their eyes grow heavier. It's not that they've forgotten you. It's that their heart, still full of longing, has made space for waiting. Still behind that resting body is a mind that listens, that wonders, that flinches at every distant sound. Is that you? Was that the elevator? And here's what's even more surprising. Even when they seem calm, their body tells a story of adaptation and love. But when the house stays quiet long enough, something ancient stirs. Something soft. Something curled. What does your dog do next, when the waiting becomes stillness? Let's find out. 5. Curling up in loneliness just like the wolves once did. Eventually, the pacing stops. The house is quiet again. And your dog? It curls in on itself, nose tucked into belly tail, wrapped like a scarf. Small, still, and almost hidden. To someone passing by, it might look like sleep. But is it? This isn't just napping. It's instinct. A pose passed down from wolves in the wild, where curling up wasn't just for warmth, it was for survival. It protected the heart, shielded the belly, conserved heat. But in the home of a human, it becomes something else. A way to make the body feel safe. When the soul feels exposed. Have you seen your dog do this? Find the quietest corner, the darkest blanket, and disappear into that shape like a comma, waiting for the next sentence to arrive. It's more than comfort. It's an act of emotional self-preservation. I'll rest now, their body says, but only where I know you've been. And yet even here, even in this quiet coil of fur and breath, there's a flicker, An ear twitch, a sudden lift of the head. Hope still alive. Listening. So what can we do? Leave a blanket? A piece of clothing? Sure. But more than anything, understand what this small act means. Because the moment they curl up like that, they're not just protecting their body. They're protecting the memory of you. And while they sleep in silence, there's something else quietly at work. Something you might not expect, an inner clock that ticks not by seconds, but by the rhythm of your return. What does that look like? Let's keep going. 6. Remembering your rhythm. You usually come home around now. Your dog can't read a clock. It doesn't know what 3:45 p.m. means. But somehow, it knows. It knows when the sun hits the kitchen floor just right. When the birds outside grow quiet. When the street noise changes its song. It knows the rhythm of your return. This isn't magic, it's memory. Dogs learn patterns, and more than that, they feel them. Your morning coffee, the shuffle of shoes, the click of the key. These moments become markers in their inner world, like stones placed on a trail to guide them home to you. And so long before the sound of your steps, your dog is already waiting, moving toward the door, standing just a little closer to the window. Not because they heard you, but because their body remembers when you usually come back. Isn't that incredible? That your presence is so consistent, so deeply felt, that even your absence has a rhythm your dog can follow. But what happens when you're late? When you don't come home at the usual time? That's when the pacing begins again. The ears perk. The eyes scan. Confusion creeps in like a shadow. Did I miss something? Was today different? If you've ever walked in later than usual and seen your dog sitting quietly by the door, just sitting, not sleeping, you've witnessed this ritual, this quiet loyalty wrapped in habit and hope. And if this sense of timing feels almost human, wait until you hear what science has discovered about their sleep. Because even in their dreams, your dog might still be with you. Let's see how. 7. And sometimes, they dream of you. At first glance, it's just sleep, a twitch of the paw, a soft whimper, maybe a little tail flick. But if you look closer, you'll see something more, a world unfolding behind closed eyes. Your dog isn't just resting, it's revisiting. Scientists have studied canine sleep patterns and discovered that dogs like us cycle through REM sleep, the phase where dreams are most vivid. And what they dream about? It often mirrors what they experience during the day, which means, yes, it's very likely they're dreaming about you. That walk you took yesterday, the game of fetch, the way your voice sounds when you call their name. In the quiet of your absence, their mind pulls you back. You become the story they replay, the comfort they curl into when the world goes still. Isn't that something that even while unconscious, their brain chooses to find you again? But there's more to it than nostalgia. These dreams serve a purpose. Experts believe dogs use sleep to process emotion, reinforce memory, and soothe stress. So, in a way, dreaming of you helps them cope with the fact that you're not there. And when they wake, maybe that's why they rush to the door. As if the dream was so vivid, they expect you to be standing right there. So the next time you catch your dog twitching in their sleep, don't brush it off. You might be starring in their dream. But what about when they're not sleeping? What if they're wide awake, still watching, still hoping for hours on end? That's where things get even more touching. Let's look at what they choose to watch and why. 8. Staring at an old toy you once threw again and again. It sits in the corner, faded, chewed, slightly torn at the seam. That old squeaky toy you haven't touched in weeks. But your dog, they stare at it like it's glowing. Not because it's fun, not because they want to play, but because you touched it. That toy holds more than stuffing. It holds a memory, 100 throws, a dozen tug-of-wars, laughter, praise, the kind of joy only two best friends can create together. And when you're gone, that memory becomes something sacred, something worth sitting beside. Have you ever seen your dog just gaze at a toy, no chewing, no pawing, just stillness? It's not boredom, it's a silent ritual, as if they're trying to will the moment back. As if by looking long enough you might appear toy in hand, ready to start again. This isn't about nostalgia the way we feel it. It's about emotional imprint. Dogs link objects to experience and experience to emotion. That toy becomes a bridge, not just to play, but to presence. Yours. So when you come home and see it near the door, or move to your favorite spot on the couch, don't think it's just a mess. It's a message. I waited here. I remembered us. And while some dogs find comfort in scent, others find it in symbols. But what if they hear something just faint enough to believe? What if the house itself starts to tease them with the idea that you might be near? Let's follow that sound. 9. Stopping mid-step because they thought they heard your voice. It happens in an instant. The room is quiet. The clock ticks. And then something. A car door slams. A voice from the hallway. The creak of the elevator. Your dog freezes mid-step. Eyes alert. Ears tilted. Breath held. Was that you? This is the moment that breaks the stillness, the fragile thread of hope suddenly tugged. Maybe you've come back early. Maybe they didn't hear wrong. And so they wait suspended between instinct and longing. Dogs don't just hear better than we do. They feel sound, vibrations in the floor, echoes in the wall. Their brain holds a map of your voice, your footsteps, even the way your keys jingle. And when a sound lands close enough to match everything, in them lights up. But then, nothing. The hallway stays empty. The door stays shut. And your dog lowers its head again almost apologetically, like it blames itself for believing, like it hopes you didn't see how much it missed you. Have you ever returned home and noticed your dog already standing by the door? No barking, no excitement, just waiting. Chances are they heard something hours ago that gave them hope, and they've been riding that thread ever since. Because when you love someone with your whole being, even a maybe becomes a reason to wait. And yet, for all this waiting, for all this silence, there's one signal that brings it all back. A flicker, a glow, a soft strip of light sneaking beneath the doorframe. Could it really be? Let's watch what happens next. 10. Watching for light under the door. The first sign of hope. There's a moment late in the day when the light shifts. Just a little. The soft gold of afternoon gives way to the cooler blue of early evening. And right then, your dog moves. Slowly. Purposefully. To the door. Not because they heard anything. Not because the keys jingled. But because their body remembers this is when you usually come back. And so they lie down, eyes fixed, not on the door handle, but on something quieter, simpler, the line of light underneath the door. To us, it's just a sliver, a bit of sun slipping across the floor. But to them, it's a signal, a heartbeat, a whisper that says, soon. They watch that light like it's alive. Will it change? Will it move? Will your shadow dance across it, the way it did yesterday or the day before that? And if it does, will the door open? It's hope in its purest form. Not loud, not desperate, just quiet, steady faith. Dogs don't mark time with minutes. They mark it with moments. Light, scent, sound, the soft fall of dusk. And when you finally return, when the lock turns, and that light disappears behind your feet, Your dog doesn't just see you. It sees a promise kept, a hope fulfilled. But what happens when that light never comes, when night falls and the wait stretches longer than usual? The story doesn't end here. Because behind those eyes, behind that wagging tail, there's a quiet truth you've probably never noticed. Let's uncover it together. Maybe you've always known your dog loves you, but now you know how they love you through the waiting, the listening, the dreaming, the stillness. Every glance at the door, every nose buried in your shirt, every quiet sigh from the corner of the room, it all says one thing: I miss you. But I trust you'll come back. Because for your dog, your return isn't just part of the day. It is the day. You are the moment that makes the silence worth holding. So the next time you walk through that door, take a second. Kneel down. Meet their eyes. Because what's been waiting for you isn't just a tail wag. It's devotion carved into time, shaped by longing wrapped in fur. If this touched you, if it made you look at your dog a little differently, today, stick around. This channel is for people who love deeply and who want to understand the quiet hearts of the animals they call family. Subscribe, and let's keep learning to love them better, one story at a time.